right, let's get into the first drill, placement and the American R. Like I said, the drills are the bread and butter for your American accent. Before you do your accent, you're always going to do these drills. I want you to think about it almost like stretching before you go to the gym. Yes, you know how to lift a dumbbell, but stretching, for example, your bicep helps you lift it in a much better way and in a cleaner way and in a stronger way. Same with these drills. By doing the drills, it's just going to ensure that you're never going to slip in your American accent. Because if you're doing your accent and everything is perfect, one tiny little slip, game over. People are going to go, oh, where are you from? And you don't want that to happen. So the first drill we're going to look at is placement and the American R. So when we think about placement, I want you guys to think about the American accent being placed in the back of your neck, which is going to be the American resonant position. So if the American resonant position is back of the neck, for example, the British resonant position is forward in the mouth. So the British accent is all the way forward. The American accent is all the way back. An accent like an Australian accent, a lot of European accents are all in the middle of your mouth. That's why it's so hard for anyone to do an Australian accent, because you can go back, you can go forward, but how do you place middle? So with placement, it's very important for us to be aware of where the American resonant position is, where the British resonant position is, and where that middle of your mouth is. Because when you're in your accent, or when you're speaking in your own accent, you want to be able to switch and go into the American accent straight away. So the only way to do that is to be aware of these positions. So what we're going to do is we're going to train ourselves to be able to speak from the back of the neck. I used to say back of the throat, but then a lot of my clients started talking over here and started doing a very Nick Nolte kind of thing. So we want to be speaking from the back of the neck. If we look at it in an intellectual way, back of the neck makes no sense because you can't speak from your neck, right? But what I want you to do is I want you to trust that your brain is going to automatically know what that means. It's weird, it's like magic, I know, but trust me, once you kind of start thinking about back of the neck, your voice is automatically going to come from there. The other thing I want you to think about when we're doing the American accent is your throat. I want you to think about your throat almost as being a vessel for sound, right? Same with your jaw. So we're not going to try to create sounds and words by using our lips and our jaw too much, because if we do that, it's going to sound like we're putting on an accent. So the throat is just going to be a vessel for the sound, and you're going to speak from the diaphragm. So the first drill, the American R drill, helps us establish the back of the neck, but it also helps us establish the American R. The letter R is the most American sounding letter there is. So it's going to be the anchor for our accent. So we need a nice, strong, crisp American R. So this is how the drill is going to go. You're going to put your hand to your chest and you're going to go ah, 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 E, neck back slightly, R. So let's break that down a little. The first section, I want you to put your hand to your chest so you feel the vibration in your chest. When we do the R sound, it's just going to be A-H-H. And we don't want to go ah or ah. We don't want to sing the sound, we want a nice raw sound. So let's just try that first part. So repeat after me. Ah, ah, ah. You can pause the video and try that for yourself. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add an E sound. The E sound is to establish middle of your mouth. So all you're literally going to do for this is a big smile, because in this position you can't speak from anywhere else but the middle of your mouth, right? So you're going to go E. That's it. Don't sing it. Don't try and make it sound pretty. It's a very simple sound. So putting those together, it's going to go ah, 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 E. That's about it. Pause the tape. Try that for yourself. The next part is to add the American R. So if we think about the American R, if we think about spelling the letter, as weird as that sounds, it's going to be spelled A-H-H-R. That's how we're going to spell the letter. So that first sound we're making, R, is essentially the first part of that letter. So when you do the American R, you're going to put your neck back slightly and tuck your chin in. Not too much, you don't have to go all the way back, you don't have to move your body, just slightly. In this position, it's impossible to speak from the middle of your mouth or from forward. So if I try and speak in my own accent like this, I can't because it's literally constricted, right? The only place to speak from is the back of the neck. So by putting your neck back, you're just forcing yourself to speak from the back of the neck. This is really important for people who have Australian accents, South African accents, Indian accents, British accents. Really force yourself to come from there for this drill. Now, of course, when you're doing your American accent, you're not going to put your neck back the whole time, but doing it in the drill kind of helps us come from the back of the neck and really lets our brain understand, all right, we're speaking from there now, I better start, doing my placement over there. So this is how the whole drill is going to go. Ah, E. Neck back slightly. R. And you see that R sound has to be nice and crisp and clear. And again, if we're going to spell the letter R, it's just A-H-H and then a little R. So that first sound, is the first part of the R. Then what happens is your tongue is literally going to roll up, just like this, to create the rest of the sound. R. And that's all it is. You want to do this drill about 5-6 times until you have a nice, crisp R sound. And remember, you want to feel the vibration in your chest because that means you're speaking from the diaphragm. Some days it might take you 10 times doing this drill to get a nice, crisp sound. Some other days it might take you 3. Depends on the time of the day, how tired you are, things like that. But 5-6 times is a good average. After doing that, you're going to say the following sentence. Around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. Again, around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. We say this sentence because, one, it's a tongue twister. It's got a lot of R's. Having a string of R words is the hardest thing in the American accent because naturally it's really hard to say R words in one sentence. So a lot of times a lot of people will trip up over that. Saying this sentence after doing that initial R drill is just going to ensure that when you get sentences that have a lot of R's, you're not going to trip up. So here we go. Around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. Then what I want you to do is I want you to stretch the R sound in all those words. So it's going to go like this. Around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. Having that R sound really helps you, again, come from the back of the neck because you can't make a nice strong R sound from the middle of your mouth or even from the English resonant position, which is forward in your mouth. Yeah, impossible. So, around the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. And remember, take your time with the drills. The thing with these drills is that they're very specific. I've gotten rid of all the things you don't need to know, which means that the drills contain every little thing that you do need to know, so you can't skip over anything. And there's no point just kind of saying it. You know, you don't want to just go E-R, because that's not going to do anything. You're just going to be wasting your time, yeah? So focus and specificity is what's going to help you get that perfect American accent. The next drill is the QRSTUV drill. What this drill does is, again, it establishes front of the mouth, English resonant position, and the American resonant position. By establishing those two kind of polar opposites, it ensures, again, that if I'm speaking in this Australian accent, I can go back to an American accent instantly. Or if you're speaking in a British accent, you should be able to go back as well. Knowing these two positions will help us slide between the two. So this is how this drill works. For now, let's forget the R sound. I just want you to focus on QSTUV. And we're actually going to do these letters in a British accent. Now, if you can't do a British accent, that's fine. I want you to do the most stereotypical, cliched British accent you know. So you're going to put your finger to your lips and you're going to go QSTUV. Again, QSTUV. And the reason my finger is to my lips is because I want you to essentially spit those letters out at your hand. I want you to feel the breath against your finger. QSTUV. That means we're coming forward in the mouth. Now we're going to add the American R. So when you add the American R, remember, you're going to put your neck back slightly to get that R sound. So the drill is going to go like this. Q, neck back slightly, R. Forward again. STUV. Again, Q, R, STUV. And the idea is when you say the R, there should be no breath against your finger because you're speaking from the back of the neck. What's very important in this drill, and a lot of my clients, a lot of times have a bit of a struggle with this, is making sure the QSTUV is right at the front and the R is right at the back. Because what a lot of people do is they'll do this. Q, R. STUV, and you'll notice the S sound was in my natural Australian accent, and then the TUV started sliding forward. So we don't want to slide forward. You literally want it to be Q forward here, R back here, STUV. So no sliding. Here's the reason. If you start sliding in your drills, say you're doing the American accent and you kind of catch yourself slipping, maybe you're falling forward into your natural Australian or British or Indian accent. You want to be able to go back instantly. You don't want to take a few words to go back, because those few words that slide back is what's going to go, oh, you're not American, where are you from, right? And you never want that. So Q, R, STUV without sliding. Do this drill again 5-6 times. Get that really crisp R sound. And most importantly, take your time. Don't rush this drill. After doing that, we're going to say the following sentences focusing on the R sound. So the first sentence is, we are the champions. So try that. Pause the tape, say that sentence, really hitting that R sound. Now the words we and champions, I still want you to come from the back of the neck. Let's try that again. We are the champions. Now, obviously, when you're doing your American accent, in a general setting, in a scene, or you're speaking to someone, you're not going to say, hey, we are the champions, right? You're not going to hit that R so hard. But what we're doing in these drills is we're really stretching and pushing the R sound, so that way when we do it in person, it's subtle. Because if we learn it subtle, we're going to be subliminal when we actually do it in person. So again, we are the champions. Let's try the next sentence. Toys are us. Pause the tape, try those two. Here's the next sentence, slightly longer. We park our cars in our garage, and we enter our back door, and place our feet on our floor, and we open our refrigerator, and drink our beer, and eat our watermelon. Huge sentence, a lot of elements to this sentence, so let's break it down a little. The first part of the sentence there, we park our cars in our garage. The word park and cars are essentially just R words, right? So let's say R, put a P in front, par, put a K at the end, park. So park is an R word. That's why it's so important to have a nice crisp R. Same deal with cars. So we park our cars in our garage. The next one, and we enter our back door. So what you'll notice here is we didn't say and we enter our back door. Now you can, it's not that Americans don't hit that T, a lot of them do, but it's more of a professional thing. If you're a professor or a newsreader, then you'll say, enter. The colloquial way to say it is enter, E-N-N-E-R, and we enter our back door and place our feet on our floor. Now, when you're doing that drill, again, focusing on the R's, and I want you to come from the back of the neck. Now, a lot of times, the word our, like our house, our car, Americans aren't going to hit that as strong as a British, an Australian, an Indian speaker, or a European speaker. So that word our, I'm almost going to have you replace it with R. Hence why we're saying we park our cars in our. The only time you're going to say our is if you're referring to time, like 2 hours, yeah? Sometimes Americans will kind of slide between them, so sometimes they might say, look, that's our house, right? But I want you to practice really saying that's our house. It's just going to ensure that you're going to stay in your American accent and not risk slipping back into your own natural accent. Now, don't worry that a lot of the elements of the sentence might not sound American when you're saying it the first time. There's a lot of things within the sentence that we haven't covered yet, but as we go through it, you're going to start realizing, oh yeah, that's why this sounds like watermelon. Oh, that's why this sounds like floor, things like that. So when you're doing this sentence, really only focus on the R sound.